Hello, welcome to my forward look video, and this is the last week before the recess, but it's also a really big week in Parliament because we're going to have the announcement of a new Prime Minister. The hustings are over. I went last week to the 16th husting, 5,000 Conservative members together in Docklands, and on Tuesday around lunchtime we are going to have the result of all the voting. Is it going to be Boris Johnson or Jeremy Hunt? On Wednesday, Theresa May will do her last Prime Minister's question time. She will then hand her resignation into the Queen personally, and the new Prime Minister will be invited to form a new administration, likely to be followed by a big reshuffle and overhaul. So it's a really big week in Parliament. But first of all, here's my eco tip of the week, and this week it's about wildflowers. I've been using a small area in my garden right next to my vegetable patch to sow some wildflower seeds. You can buy it very cheaply. Now, I bought a box from Wilco's for a few quid. They're also on special offer at Homebase at the moment. And it's really come up trumps, as you can see here. Lots of flowers acting as magnets for lots of pollinators, I've noticed, and really helping to pollinate the vegetables as well. Good thing to have in any little area of garden. Just have a little wild area and get those wildflowers growing. Now, what is happening in Parliament for the rest of the week? Today we've got the remaining stages of something called the non-domestic rating bill. Tomorrow we've got an interesting debate around body form and mental health, and also I have what's called a 10-minute rule bill tomorrow, where I should be presenting the Tibet reciprocal access bill based on an act which went through Congress last year. I chair the all-party group on Tibet. As you know, I went to Dharamsala to see politicians from Tibet last year, and this bill, if it were picked up, would mean that if the Chinese were not allowing access to Tibet by embassy staff, by politicians and others, to see the human rights abuses, concern over the environmental damage being done there, then Chinese officials would be denied access to the United Kingdom, as is now the case for the US. So I'm bringing that forward on Tuesday. Now, the rest of the week we've also got, we've just had a meeting of the Home Affairs Select Committee, where we've had the current Home Secretary Sajid Javid in front of us for a couple of hours, and a big range of questions we asked him, which you can catch up with on the parliamentary channel. Tomorrow I've got a meeting with other West Sussex MPs about the children's services in West Sussex, where recently they had a very poor report, and the man who's taking over to get them back on an even keel is coming to see us, and we'll be asking him closely because that's a big concern to many of my constituents. I'm also attempting this week to set up a new all-party parliamentary group on lipoedema. Now, this is an illness or condition that many women suffer in this country, and it's largely unrecognised, and there's just not enough support and treatment for it. So together with a number of other MPs who have also been lobbied by constituents, we're setting up a new all-party group to try and bring greater attention within the NHS to this, and get greater support for women who desperately need it and aren't getting it at the moment. Later in the week I shall be attending on Friday. Sainsbury's have got one of their Active Kids events at one of the schools in Lancing. I shall be going along to support for one of their holiday clubs during the holiday. And then we have the World Croquet Championships, which are being hosted by Southwick. This is the biggest event for croquet in the world. It's going to be opened by the Duke of Gloucester. It's a great club there, and the eyes of the World Croquet community will be on us. Then I've got later in the day on Friday a surgery at Shoreham, and again, ring up the office if you want to book an appointment. Next week I am going on a delegation to Israel. If you remember, I did a delegation to Palestine last year with one of the Palestinian charities. I said I'd like to go with one of the Israeli groups this year, which I shall be doing, and we'll report back on that from the other side and getting another view, and then I'll do a report back meeting as I did with my trip to Palestine last year. So it will be a rather different climate. I shall be reporting from next week with a different Prime Minister, and I'll give some comment on that as well.